The next project, we're going to be making some Boston baked beans with a little twist, a little bit different from most recipes that you'll read. In this one, I'm going to be using some Great Northern beans, and I'm going to triple the usual recipe. The recipe calls for like 1 pound of beans. I'm going to be making 3 pounds. Recipe calls for onions. I cut those up previously. Bell pepper. The bell pepper is probably 1 large bell pepper, and this onion is 2 mediums. And then I also have some celery that I diced, and this is approximately 4 stalks of celery. Garlic, and no, I'm not going to use all this garlic in this recipe. I have it also minced for another recipe that I'm going to be doing later on. Can't have baked beans without bacon. So I'm going to cut this into small little pieces, cook it, reserve the oil for sauteing the vegetables, and then adding that to the beans and all the other sauce ingredients. This recipe also calls for apple juice, a little bit of apple cider vinegar. Can't have baked beans without some molasses, a little bit of mustard, and these are burnt ends that I had from a competition that I did not use them, so I'm going to shred those up and put it in the baked beans. For my sauce, this is a combination of sauce and the juice from the burnt ends over a couple of competitions. So I always save the sauce and the juice because it's got a lot of flavor in it. And instead of using a regular barbecue sauce, I'm going to use this. For this baked bean recipe from scratch, no canned beans used here, I've got some burnt end sauce. And this is a combination of a barbecue sauce that I use when I make the burnt ends, and I've taken sauce over the last competitions, I freeze it and I thawed it out. I'm going to use this in my baked beans. In addition, I have some burnt ends that are left over from a competition. Those will be shredded and placed in the beans. Molasses, mustard, we've got our Great Northern beans, bell pepper, celery, bacon, onions, garlic, apple juice, and apple cider vinegar. And I'll have the recipe displayed on the screen for you. I sauteed the bacon, and that's cut into little shreds. That's going to go in the beans. And from the bacon grease, I added that to the skillet, and we're going to use that to saute our vegetables. They will be sauteed just until they're soft, because they're going to cook a long, long time in the baked bean mixture. So they have a lot of time to get the texture correct. And I told you I wasn't going to use all of that garlic. The other half of it's going to go in a couple other dishes that I'm making. Making these baked beans is something different for me. I've made baked beans before, but not in the quantity that I'm going to be making tomorrow. Ordinarily, I would do just a regular 1 pound of beans, soak them overnight, then add the other ingredients, including the vegetables, the bacon, this barbecue sauce, the molasses, salt, pepper, apple cider vinegar, apple juice, mustard, and add all those ingredients later on. one of the things too I need to of note is that it's not on the ingredient list for something that I may add later on, depending on the taste of the beans. I may add a little bit of brown sugar just to get them sweet. Currently, the only sweetness is going to be in the burnt-in sauce mixture that I have, and from the molasses. I measured out the burnt-in sauce, and I had 4 cups. For this recipe, I should only need about 3 cups, but I'll keep it together because depending upon how long they cook, they'll get all caramelized and all sugary, sweet, and goody, and a lot of that water will evaporate off, and that sauce will concentrate better in the beans. It would have been just easy just to buy some cans of baked beans and add a few little ingredients to them to doctor them up. But I find that when I do them myself, I have better control over what the ingredients are, and I don't have to mash one thing and add something else. So I know exactly what's going in it and what my flavors are going to be. And it's just fun also just to cook from scratch. I get a kick out of it. I may say it's a chore, but I love doing it. Now, 3 pounds of baked beans, I'm hoping will be enough for this party. We're expecting quite a big group. Don't have a final count on them because people are still RSVPing, and this is through my hubby's job, so I have no control of getting people to get back to me. The general number that they threw out to me was approximately 50 people. And I don't cater, so I don't know how to do amount of food per person. So I just cook what looks like is going to be enough. And there's going to be all sorts of other things. We're going to have, let me just, a rundown on the menu for you. Let me tell you what we have. I'm going to be smoking 3 prime briskets. I'm going to be smoking some pork butt, and I've got about 2 pork butts I'm going to be doing. Ribs, I've got 8 racks of ribs, and then from the racks that I trim, I have the rib tips. The other day, I made some sausage from some of the meats that I had in the freezer, and so I'll have jalapeno garlic sausage. I'll have a Polish type sausage, and I also have another sausage which I'm going to call a hot gut. Elgin hot gut is the recipe that I use. Other people are going to be bringing things such as coleslaw, potato salad, appetizers and salads. I have the baked beans and the macaroni and cheese. And I'm sure that people are going to bring all sorts of other things that we don't even have on the list. So I'm sure there'll be plenty of food. One of the things that I told the organizer to do is to make sure that she had some to-go type boxes, because after all this stuff is cooked and everybody leaves, I don't want to have any of the food left here. Everybody take a goodie bag, go home, and enjoy again. I think I've got this nice and soft enough, and I'm going to turn off the heat, cool it off, refrigerate it, and in the morning I'll add it to my sauce mixture with the other ingredients I listed. In addition, I'm going to soak my beans overnight so they'll get a little bit softened. This recipe called for taking the beans and cooking them separately in a pot of water for a couple of hours until they're soft, and then adding the ingredients, putting them in the smoker or oven or however I'm going to cook it until they get good, bubbly, and sweety good. There you have it, prepping for some baked beans. Full pan of baked beans.